Okay, welcome back. This is the will be, and once it's edited and brought into the world, this will be the second podcast that we've put together, right, Tom?
Correcto.
Correcto
Correcto
mundo.
mundo.
Correcto mundo while we drink a Modelo.
Ooh, I have such a headache. I'm gonna fight throw up if I drink another one.
Oh shit, that's right.
Yeah. Nah, I'll sip it.
You can always vomit in your mouth and call it a day. It's all fine. But you know what also makes me want to vomit in my mouth?
Yes, please tell me.
Retail work.
Yep.
Something that we've seasoned ourselves with for, I'd probably say, a longer amount of life that probably has shortened our lifespans, wouldn't you say?
100%.
Yeah. We met in retail. We worked back in, well, when did you start at CV Shit? And
2007.
2007. Okay, so I started, I believe, in 2006. I was still in high school. I was in junior year of high school, I believe, and I worked there for the remainder of my junior year, and I almost dropped out of school for my senior year because of how much, not really how much I was working, but how much I was juggling work and school and getting tired of the whole notion of that of my life. So, but I can guarantee you the extra layer of misery was without a doubt brought on by CV Shit.
And we used to take the same bus.
Yeah,
We were
did.
taking the same bus
Yep.
home, and you would get off much earlier. Well, not much earlier, just a few stops before me. And I always see you on the bus. You had the long hair. We never like said anything because obviously I was in different parts of the seating.
It was one of those sort of amicable, like, I know this dude, but I don't know this dude, so I'm not really going to talk to him. But
Yeah.
I definitely recognize this dude, and I see him take the same bus and train every day.
Yep.
But I honestly, the one main thing I remember from taking the Q41 all the fucking time was getting on I said train before, but the bus. Getting on the bus, passing the fuck out, and then waking up, either talking to myself and waking up in the same process, or waking up and being like 2 stops past where I was supposed to be, or waking up and the bus is fucking empty. That happened quite often.
Oh man, dude, I would say one of the. It's so sad because I took my high school was in Long Island City,
Right.
so it was like, oh god, it was fucking horrendous to get to it, and I also took a shitty way of getting there. It was a bus in the morning to the train and stuff in Boulevard, which was like a 45-minute ride.
That's over by Sutphin and Archer, right?
Yeah, Jamaica. Yeah. So
The worst.
6 o'clock in the morning, I had to catch the 6:04 bus.
Okay.
And I would get, in order for me to get to school by 7:30, 7:40. It just take me almost 2 hours to get to school.
Fucking A.
And it wasn't until junior year of high school, a friend of mine, Vortec, showed me that it was so fucking stupid what I was doing.
Oh, no.
That I literally, all I had to do was take it to Queen Center Mall and take the bus home. And that shaved off almost 45 minutes out of my ride.
Holy shit. And you were doing that for how long?
Well, I stayed with the bus and the train. I just kept doing it out of habit.
Yeah.
And because I was programmed on schedule.
Well, yeah,
but
I was
coming
gonna
home,
say it becomes routine, so it's like, fuck it, you get up at that time. What else are you gonna fucking
well,
do?
yeah,
Sit
exactly.
around?
Because I didn't know like the right time for things. I was like, well, I'm fine with this. Coming home though, just to be home faster. I mean, whatever. I used to get to school at 2, but it was always different because, I would hang out, go to the mall, whatever the case was. But let's say I got on the bus at 4 o'clock. I was home by 4:40.
Okay.
I was off the bus walking home. So it wasn't bad. But yeah, I needed a job.
Yeah.
My older brother was working at CVS.
Which I knew before you, actually.
Yep.
He was there before I started there.
That's right.
He was there for fucking how many years?
I think he would start there in 2005. And he stayed for like 3 years, 4 years, maybe less.
Yeah. He was there for a while, but I remember he eventually got out, which was the smart move to do.
And motherfucker, I get into CVS.
I feel like we're bringing back sad, angry memories.
Because
it's hard to put it into words how miserable CVS has made us.
What makes me so fucking.
I'm sorry, CV Shit. I refuse to call it
CV
CVS
shit.
anymore.
What made me so angry about CVS is they were so criminally underpaid. I think back then, which I guess was normal hours, but if you worked in photo, you made like a little more. If you worked regular cashier stock, I mean, it didn't really matter because cashier did stock and everything else too. And so did photo. Photo wasn't just photo. You also doing stock. You were basically doing cashier stuff too. Because
pretty much whatever position you were hired for, you were also hired as a stock person.
Yeah,
no matter
what. They didn't give a flying fuck.
But it was a matter of supply and demand because CVS, if you've been to a CVS, as everybody has, they offer so many fucking different things.
Yeah.
They can't just have 3 stock people. They needed everybody on board for truck day, no matter what. Whether you were a stock person or not, they'd bring everybody on.
And the worst was because I ended up quitting, going back 3 times. And the last time I was put into photo, because they asked me what you want to do, and I said photo. I was thinking, it's something close to film, I guess. And I enjoyed it for what it was worth.
And quite possibly it might be a step back from all the excessive angles and multiple hats that they'll make you wear.
Sure. I mean, by that time you left. You were gone. You were long gone.
I left and wasn't looking back.
And we had another, somebody else that we knew was kind of on his way out too. And we pretty much lost the original crew.
Yeah.
And so when I went back, there was a small shell of people that were still there, or a shadow of people that were still there, that were originally there. And photos, truck days he's 100% correct. Truck days were the worst because I think they were like Friday mornings or something, whatever they were.
They bounced around. I remember way back in the day, they were Tuesday mornings. But that was back when we had the good crew.
Yeah.
But also the slack crew, which is why they broke it up and they changed it on us. But pretty much there were days where we'd go in and we'd do our truck, and then midway through the day we'd break for lunch and pretty much never go back to work. So those days were good. But then, of course, as we did it more consistently, the management caught on and then started to break up our little fun days. And then truck days moved due to truck stuff, and then certain people weren't put on because they knew they'd slack and blah, 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 blah. So
truck day for those.
It was an 8 to 4, right? Or 7, something like that, right?
It was 7 to 3 or 8 to 4.
Yeah, that shit sucked.
And I feel like the people who were favored, quote unquote,
oh, absolutely,
got the 7 to 3s or
abso-fucking-lutely.
I could never get that early shift because I wanted to get the fuck out of there.
You'd end up with a 10 to 6.
Always 10 to. I always got 12 to fucking 8, I used to get fucking 4 to 10 because that place was 24 hours.
Oh yeah, the fucking 4 to 10 bullshit.
Oh, I hate, dude. You know that. Oh my god, you've experienced this. It's the worst fucking people who work retail. And I know a lot of stores have closed now because of everything, so it's 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Right. But when those stores were open until midnight or 10, working 4 to 10 is so fucking life draining because you know you can't relax. You know that you're gonna have to give yourself an hour at least to get to fucking work.
Right.
You get in there, the rest of the afternoon is shot. You get out, you can't do anything. You go to sleep, and then chances are they probably fucking put you for the next morning.
And you fuck yourself all over again, and the cycle continues.
Fucking hated it. And CVS did that shit all the fucking time.
Absolutely.
Never gave you a consistent schedule.
I mean, back to what you were saying with the weird 4 to 10s, I remember because I was in school, the management had no problem putting me on like, oh, well, I got out of class at 3, so I don't know if I could work today. Oh, well, you could come in at 5. That's the fucking compromise. It's like, no, bitch, I was telling you that I needed a day off.
Yeah.
So I don't want to fully attribute CV shit for the reason I almost dropped out senior year in school.
I didn't know that.
I mean, it's like I didn't. I just had no drive to go. I wasn't trying to drop out, but I would wake up in the morning and I'd be like, fuck this. I don't want to go and drain myself at school for shit that's not really sinking in just to go to a job that's going to make me miserable afterwards. But what was stupid was I would opt out on school and then I'd still go to work. On the only bright side of that is I'd be nice and well rested for the whole process, and that was pretty much it. But they definitely led to the same reason I was pretty much perpetually exhausted. So opting out of school for whatever amount of time that day was, and then just going into work for 5 hours, 6 hours, it made it a little more tolerable to function in a day. So
I lost a lot of respect for that place. Not like there was much to have, but I lost a lot when I had a friend of mine who got into a bad car accident.
Right.
And I had to leave. She was in pretty terrible shape, and I was like, I was scheduled for that afternoon.
Right.
And I was like, listen, I can't. I just can't. I can't make it. It's not going to happen. And
I remember you telling me the story and the fact that they still gave you grief to come in. That I was long gone from the company. I was like, fuck CVS for that.
No,
shit.
you were there.
Was I still
You
there?
were still there.
Oh, no, that's right. Oh, fuck. That's right, I was.
So I walked.
I remember you came in and you looked like you had been through it.
Yeah, I was all fucked up.
Yeah.
And I get called into because the manager asked me to come.
Yeah.
She said if you don't, she said you have to come. So I came in. I remember making eye contact with you.
Yeah.
You didn't say anything, but you told me after you look like shit.
No, I sensed the vibe, so I didn't want to be like, hey, what's up, man? You working today? I was just like, I'll talk to him after he does what he's got to do, and we'll go from there.
And I walked into the office, and it wasn't
the internment camp.
Exactly, 100%.
With the Führer would stay.
Bleeding on the seat. She not only was she there, obviously, but she was with the fucking district manager. Do you remember him?
Vaguely, yeah.
Anthony.
Oh, yeah.
And she goes, okay, Tom, you're going to go and go in the back room, grab some pallets or crates, whatever the fuck they call them. And I'm going to need you to, stock out, blah, blah, blah. And I remember cutting her off and I said, listen, I'm here, but I just, like, I really have to go. Like, this is not a situation where I can go later.
Right.
And her direct response to me was, well, hospitals have visiting hours. And I said, and I remember looking at her.
Disgusting.
I remember looking at her and I said, well, my friend may not make it, so I'm saying I have to leave. Sorry, that's what I said first. And then that was the response I got. I remember saying, my friend may not make it. I can't, I have to go. I'm not gonna be able to work. And that was the response I got.
Yeah.
And when she said that, I said, okay. And she goes, well, if you leave, then that means you're quitting. And I remember, I had the light blue CVS shirt at the time. I remember giving it over to her. And I said, that this is not that important. And right in front of the district manager, he didn't say anything.
Of course not.
Of
course not.
Of course not. Because, he was known, he's used as a fucking weasel. And then.
No, of course.
I think she said goodbye. I remember not saying goodbye to her and I left. And then I think I mentioned something. I remember talking to you for quickly.
Yeah,
and
briefly.
Then I left. And then.
I think you mentioned it's like, yeah, I just quit. And I was just like, but why? Yeah, but I didn't understand like the full. Yeah. I didn't know the full situation at the time. And I was just more like, damn, the one actual person that I still got along with and was still working there was gone, Yeah,
because people started leaving by then.
Yeah. We were sort of the few that were left that would team up together and steal rainbow cookies.
Oh, my God. Let's talk about that.
Oh, man.
The amount of quote-unquote damages.
Oh, I miss it.
The loophole in CVS was if something is damaged, you had to throw it out, or it went to a pallet that was to be thrown out.
Right, which eventually all it did was it got scanned into a computer, it got accounted for as damage, and then it was marked out, and that's it.
But if it was credit for that or something. Yeah.
If it was a perishable, everybody would help themselves, and by everybody I mean me and Tom.
All the time.
So every once in a while, it got to the point where they started like, all right, well, if something was damaged, it had to be marked specifically so they would know, or would have to be like labeled with store supply or marked that you paid for it.
Yeah.
So we started swindling where we'd like, it was definitely not paid for. We'd rip it open and then we'd find the right stickers. Like, oh shit, this manager shouldn't have left these stickers out. They're ours now. So we'd relabel it and like, yeah, no, this was definitely store supplied, marked out, whatever. And I remember.
Go ahead.
I remember one of my favorite scenarios where that happened was, we went in, we both walked in and I think we were both working like the same shift time.
Yep.
And we gave each other this look. It's like, all right, here's what we're doing. Rainbow cookies, 2 bottles of Nesquik chocolate milk, and whatever the fucking else, maybe some Pringles or whatever. And we looked at each other and we're like, all right, no. And then we kind of go, fuck, we don't want to get in trouble for this. So let's make sure we do the swindle right. So we grabbed our stuff, we labeled them or whatever. And then the manager at the time, she'll go as Courtney.
Yes, she was pregnant.
And she would always give us this look like she knew we were up to something.
She always knew.
Yeah, she knew she probably let us slide in so much shit, so I'll give her credit for that.
100%.
But she knew we were up to some shit. But as soon as she went to like berate us and tell us, yeah, why are you guys taking shit and damaging shit? We open up the box of rainbow cookies. Rainbow cookie?
And she would eat them.
And she'd give us that sly look with the side eye, and then she'd take 3 rainbow cookies and go back into the office, and that was it.
We Till today, guaranteed 100%. I will fully endorse this comment. CVS, at least the one by us, refuses to hold rainbow cookies, at least for a while.
I was just going to say exactly the same thing.
Because there was a comment that was made that they were losing so much money off rainbow cookies because they go, a lot of them are getting damaged or stolen, and they're like, they were making no profit off those sales. Not knowing that we were literally just taking, we were taking all, hands down. I think we took almost all the rainbow cookies.
We didn't steal them. We just borrowed them for work.
Fuck you! You're gonna pay us junk.
We needed energy to do their lackluster, underpaid job.
Yeah. So. Here's $7 an hour, but I'm gonna have you do fucking 5 jobs right now.
So I worked there for 4 years. I started at $7. Guess how much I was making when I left?
$7.45.
$7.25. Do
you remember Bobby? Right?
Yeah.
Towards the end, he actually quit because he said, if they don't give me a raise, I'm going to quit.
Yeah. And we all sort of, in essence, called his bluff. It's like, he's not going to fucking quit.
And he fucking quit.
He's been there longer than most of us. He won't quit. And then when the manager, I almost said that, I almost exposed the shit manager in the shit neighborhood's name, who's still the shit manager, to my understanding, which I don't even understand how.
Oh, she's still there.
It boggles my mind.
Boggles my mind, too.
But she pretty much gave him a shit raise that he was expecting to get, and he was out.
10 cents.
10 fucking.
She said
was that after a year or 6 months?
After a year or 6 months.
Son of a bitch.
Dude, he never got a raise.
What?
He said, because he got offered another job, and he said, listen, I will stay here also. I'll do both. But if you don't offer me a raise.
Right. If you don't pay me at least what my worth is.
He goes,
his worth
$1 more
at least.
Yeah, he goes, if all he wanted was like $1 more or something. It wasn't anything like super fucking crazy. And she goes, I have to go look at the, whatchamacallit. She came back and said, sorry. And he goes, okay, well, I'm quitting. She goes, no. So they did a review. She goes, okay, and handed him a piece of paper. And he said I'll never forget, he said it was 10 cents. Yeah, and
she handed him a piece of paper. She went through the whole song and dance,
and that's all she could offer him.
And the fucking ridiculous.
I could be I'm pretty convinced it was 10 cents. It could have been 60 cents. No, but it wasn't $1. It was in the cents.
Regardless, you do all the showboating for 60 fucking cents. I could understand if she was about to drop $5 on him in the raise, and then do the whole let's see if you appreciate the offer. 60 cents slid across the table. I'd throw back 2 Bazooka Joes in her face and tell her to go suck a dick.
Well, essentially, he did that in a more non-aggressive way. He took his badge off, he took his shirt off, and he said, "I'm out of here." And he didn't even finish his shift. He was in the middle. It was like he was in the middle of his shift or so, or he was like a few hours in, and he just left. They were shorthanded.
Nice.
And then I found, and he turned to me and he said, "I quit." And here it was. I was the last one.
The last survivor.
Even though I had quit 2 times at that point.
The rehired last survivor.
Exactly. I was the last one, and then that's when I got. I'm not gonna say I was depressed, but that's when I got really fucking down because everyone was gone. I was there. I was just still trying to figure out things. I was finishing up school.
Yeah. And trying to just accumulate some kind of income to balance school and all that shit.
100%. And I remember towards the end, CVS was paying weekly. Then they went to bi-weekly payment cycle like a lot of retail does. And
which thankfully it's one of those things I got out of before that happened because I think biweekly is a load of fucking shit.
It's a load of shit. I hate it.
I don't even understand. What is the logic behind biweekly? I don't understand it. Is that a way for them to save money? Is that like a deal with the banks? So
maybe
the banks
it's easy on the accountants, I guess. I don't know. I know in Europe they pay once a month.
Horseshit.
It's horse. It's just so.
It's probably a nice looking check after a month, but at the same time,
it's the same shit.
And you need that money. Like the whole point of working a week away. Like I feel like you should get paid fucking daily. You work a day's work, you get that money at the end of the fucking day. That should be the line.
100%. It's all owed to you anyway. So what's the difference?
Exactly.
So when they went on a biweekly schedule,
right.
I remember I had to pay for books. I was again, you're a college student. I was paying for a lot of my own. I was paying for all my shit.
Right.
Between my car and then I had the textbooks, and so I owed at that time like $100 or $200 on my credit card, my only credit card. And at the same time, I also needed to buy some stuff. And I remember being like, fuck, in my checking account, I had no savings. Maybe I did $20.
Yeah.
But my checking was like $200. That's it. That's all I had.
Yep.
And I'll never forget, I remember It was the second week. I was getting my paycheck. That day was a Friday. Mm-hmm. And I remember opening up the check because they handed it to me in the morning. And I remember opening it up. It was in photo. It was quiet. And I remember looking down, and after 2 weeks, after 2 fucking weeks, I think it was like $288.
Oh, fuck.
And I worked full 5-day weeks.
2 weeks, 5-day weeks, and you got $288.
Yeah, because I think they only paid you. Did they pay you 2 weeks at a time? Yeah. So because it was after it was all the taxes and shit that was taken out. Maybe it was like 4 days.
That's probably why they do the biweekly, because they fuck you with the taxes too. Who knows? That's bullshit either way.
And I remember I'm not ashamed to admit this. I actually fucking cried. And it was the only time I cried while working in the photo. I remember because you know how there was a computer and there was like a little slit.
Yeah, between you could sort of hide off. I remember, just reminded me of a story when I got drunk and I was like passed out. Right. I was passed out standing up in the back there, so I know exactly which spot you're talking about.
And I remember I was crying, and then it wasn't that long after. I think I lasted 1 more month and then I ended up quitting. But
the final quitting.
That was it. Knock on wood. Well, that's not wood. Knock on wood. No, I wouldn't. I'll start selling some of my stuff off before I ever have to go back there.
Yeah, like a little piece of ass.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd rather become a prostitute than 100%. Go back to work at CVS.
I'll get HIV. I don't give a fuck.
Fuck it.
Fuck CVS. Hands down, I think CVS is probably the worst. I've done CVS. I've done Key Food.
Yeah.
And I have to say, they both have their major problems, but CVS is on a whole nother level of... Dude, when Hurricane fucking Sandy hit, right?
Oh, I remember. Yeah, I remember.
The whole fucking store was destroyed.
Yep.
I helped.
Which I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty fucked up. But I walked by and I saw a gutted store, and I got unnecessarily giddy seeing how empty it was.
It should have closed down.
Yeah,
they caused unneeded traffic.
I felt bad for anybody that lost anything out there, but at the same time, that company was such full of shit and all the bullshit that we've dealt with. No remorse for a destroyed store.
Yeah,
none.
And I mean, and you're not. You saying it was gutted is taking it lightly. That store was so devastated.
Yeah.
I'm surprised the fucking store didn't collapse.
Damn.
I mean, it was dude, there was so much water in that store that the ceiling panels, there was electrical everywhere.
Holy shit.
Like the I don't know what they did exactly to drain it out. Like apparently from floor to ceiling, that it was full of water. It was a fish tank.
Holy fucking shit.
That's how much water they got. I remember the bay's right there.
Fuck. Damn. Yeah, that's true. The bay's right in the backyard.
Yeah. So what ends up happening is
the back,
the whatever, the bay. I think. So I worked there for a month. I helped them do the reno, clean up and everything. And
I know you had to bounce around, or you worked at the store and.
So they asked me because it was kind of closing in at the one over by us, and they were like, "Do you want to get transferred?" Because there was at a point there
which is the only. I mean, this is the one thing I guess during these sort of like troublesome times or crisis, at least at minimum, there's some form of line of support and help. Like they were willing to be like, all right, well, we're not firing you, we're not laying you off given the circumstances, but we can sort of to an extent outsource you to another place that needs you.
Well, let's call her Deborah. Deborah actually said to me, she goes, "Did you lose anything?" Oh. And I said, "No." She goes, "If so, let us know and CVS will cut you a check."
Oh, wow. Okay.
For what you lost.
But that's a check that you end up owing them eventually, correct?
No, that was clean.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They were willing. The guy, whoever owns that particular CVS, was cutting checks to those who've lost.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I remember that.
I will respect that.
I respected that. I definitely respected that. So they asked me if I want to go on unemployment.
Yeah.
Or would you like to still work? I said I'll continue working. So they sent me over to down by Metropolitan.
Right.
And I worked there for a month or so, and then the CVS over here started opening up. Okay. And so I went back.
Yeah.
And the fucking store opens back up. Mm-hmm. And then they have like this quote unquote big celebration, which was literally a fucking small ass tray of cookies and a balloon. And
we've stolen more than that. That's
yeah,
ridiculous.
Exactly.
You know, but at least rip open a pack of Pringles and open it up and spread it out. You know,
and they were the generic. They were the bakery across the street, but then they opened the generic CVS brand cookies. It's like, get the fuck out of here. Kid you not. But you know what bothered me the most was that weeks later or so, everyone's on this hype because the store reopened.
Yeah.
But this motherfucker, Anthony, or the district manager, I guess that was his name, comes in one day and says, Tom, come here. And I go, what's going on? And he's like, you got to start greeting the customers. And I go, I do. I say, hi, how are you? Good afternoon or good morning. No, he's like, no, you have to physically walk up to them.
You got to rub them down. You got to tug on their cocks, rub their clits, and make sure they shop till they drop and suck their cocks.
Yeah. He basically said if one of them needs their asshole licked,
you do it.
You better get a dental demp.
You don't say what? I have to lick that ass?
You say when.
You say for how long.
Yes.
You say when and for how long.
In my mouth, and do you need me to chew? And basically, he asked me...
Nerds or no nerds in and around their buttholes?
You want me to swallow your spit? But so this motherfucker wanted me, and he was on my ass, and he said... So I said, so you want me to walk? So I walked up to a customer. I said, hey, how are you? Can I help you? And the customer, of course, was like, no, I'm good. You know, kind of like, you know, give me some space. And he came back to me, and he said, no, Tom, you got dialogue. It's, hi, welcome to CVS.
Oh, Jesus.
Such and such and such and such. How may I help you today? And I said, if you're expecting me, I'll never forget. I said, if you're expecting me to say that to a fucking customer who you literally just saw their body language.
I just want to paint a quick picture here. Thomas slammed the table twice, and the Italian hand gestures are out. So he's really heated about
this. Because it's this corporate bullshit where
it's so unnecessary.
It's so unnecessary.
I dealt with the same shit when I was working at Starbucks.
I'm sure.
It's like they want you to stick to a script, but they want you to be original, but they want you to retain customers, but they want you to stick to a script because they want to make money. And it becomes this runaround circle that you feel trapped in where you can't even be a fucking human. They want you to be a fucking robot.
You're a robot.
Just to talk to people. Yeah. Just for their sake of retaining a couple extra bucks.
Yeah. You are a fucking robot. And I remember saying to him, if you're expecting me to say that, and I told him, I said, I am not a robot. I was like, if you're literally expecting me to say that, when you literally, I said that woman's body language was so, she wanted her own space. I was like in her space.
You're invading her space. She just when I go into a Walgreens or any establishment whatsoever, I don't go in with the, hey, who's going to help me? I go in there with the list. Granted, that's not everybody. I'm speaking personally for myself.
Yeah.
But I go in with the list. I don't go in for help. I go in to go, all right, at minimum, maybe I'll ask if I need to know where something is.
Yeah.
I go in there and I'm grabbing my 3 items and I'm out the fucking door.
Of course.
And I think a lot of people are motivated like that.
100.
Even more so now, of course.
Yeah.
But that's, you know.
And so he goes, watch, I'll show you. And he went up to a customer. He said,
I bet his ass got shut down.
100%, because he went, hi, welcome to CVS. How may I help you? Nothing of what. He did the shortest version.
Get away from my ass.
Once it reopened, it became this unfucking bearable corporate bullshit. Yeah. Where it was just so impossible to work there.
I think the problem is, and this is just me trying to logicalize their stupidity, but I think the reason they did that once it reopened is they were basically playing the long game of recouping all the losses from Sandy.
Oh, probably.
And the only way to do that is through situations like this, where you have to, you know, keep bogging down and keep forcing yourselves upon customers, which is ridiculous. And like I said, I didn't get to see it as much at CVS when I was there because this is pre-Sandy.
Yeah.
But I've seen this tactic so many times when I worked at Starbucks, to the point where I was about to 10 years and I could have been a manager of my own fucking store. And the manager that I work with put me in that position so many times that I was like, fuck this shit. I'm done. I got to get the fuck out. I'm over it.
How many years were you at Starbucks?
I hit 9 years. Wow. If I was still there now, it would have been my 10th anniversary, I believe, this week.
Wow.
So, yep.
And you would have got manager position.
I would have likely been a manager before that.
Okay.
I would have gained a free pound of coffee for every week of my life forever, had I stayed for 10 years.
That's how bad. Of any choice.
Any choice. I could go up to any Starbucks and I could use my partner numbers to pretty much mark out a pound of coffee. That's how bad it was. I could have just stuck it out for one more year to retain free coffee for life. And I hit the 9-year mark, and it made me, I was so miserable there that I was like, fuck it, I don't even care about any of this extra shit. I just want to wash myself of Starbucks completely. The only thing I think I left, with Starbucks, would be an addiction to caffeine. That's about it. Everything else, I'm like, fuck it. Okay, granted, there's a lot of good friendships that I got out of it, but still, fucking bullshit. Corporate greed, corporate nonsense. Yeah. And I'm hearing the same story right now. I'm hearing it from workers that I'm talking to, who are slowly trying to sort of like soft launch and a hard launch back into normal workspaces. The district manager is telling them that they got to keep the point of sale register and still get customers inside the store on top of an used mobile order system, on top of a Uber Eats mobile order system. So they have 2 sets of orders coming in at all times, and the district manager wants them to still keep
while that district manager is home.
Oh,
jerking off on his
I
nice
guarantee you,
couch.
I guarantee you he didn't tell them this in person. I guarantee you he told it to them fucking
Email.
remotely. Yeah, if even, yeah. Email.
Fucking GameStop did the same shit.
Which reminds me, I don't want to get too much about all the different states and stuff during lockdown, but I know, I don't know if you heard about Vegas. The woman in Vegas, the mayor, I believe, or governor of Vegas, she pretty much said, why don't we use Vegas as a test to see where the virus still stands? So as she got asked that, some people are like, yeah, it's a great idea. We should do that. Another reporter turned to her and goes, so when you reopen Vegas as you plan to do, will you be gambling with everybody else? She paused dramatically and she goes, no, absolutely not. I have a family. Right, because nobody else in fucking Vegas has a family, you dumb fucking cunt. Simply put, I regret none of my words, and I will call her that one more time.
Wow, I did not know that.
A dumb fucking cunt. How are you going to be running a fucking anything? How are you going to be running something and you can't even follow the own logic from what you're running?
There's a guy on YouTube.
Yeah.
He's called Camelot something.
Okay.
He used to work at GameStop. He was a manager for a lot. He was like around 10 years or so. He was there for a big chunk of his life.
It's crazy.
And now he does these YouTube videos where people who work as a manager, general managers, assistant managers, whatever, they'll send him emails, texts like, hey, listen, this is what's going on.
Wow.
He was able to tap into a fucking conference call with all the managers of GameStop talking to the higher ups.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
And they were asking these fucking district managers, these fucking CEOs, or not CEOs, but like whatever, the higher ups were literally telling them, basically, we're going to stay open. We're essential. Do everything you possibly can to keep the place safe. And they were like, but you were supposed to send us Listerine, disinfectant wipes and all this shit. And they're like, we're working on that. And then some employees, some of the managers were saying, well, some of my employees are asking, are you guys working too? Because we call corporate and no one at corporate's picking up.
Nobody's answering.
And they're like, we want to know, are you home right now? Because all we're getting is emails.
Well, I'll be honest with you. That's irrelevant.
No, they said, yes, we are.
Daddy, are you coming back to the room? I need a sandwich. That motherfucker's in his fucking house making that call.
Okay.
Guaranteed.
They said every motherfucker they were talking to was home. They were safe at home. They were expecting all these motherfuckers to be working for fucking $15 an hour. And some states it's less.
Mind you, these guys are still getting paid, sitting at home because they're working from home.
Yep.
Granted.
Well, fuck GameStop. They're gone. They're almost bankrupt anyway.
I can't wait
fuck
for them
them
to go under, quite honestly.
Fuck them.
I'm waiting for that day because I cannot wait.
I can't. There's such fucking, like, the fact that you have the nerve to be like, I just bought a video game. I'm going to give it back to you. I want to sell it back now. And now you're going to give me 35. What is this, a fucking car? Off the lot, it's half the retail.
The only people I feel bad for is the workers,
100%.
But at the same time, for those listening, for those who are GameStop workers or people that's still going through that, there are plenty of better jobs out there. It's not worth the 20% off that they probably give you for an employee discount there. Plenty of jobs that you can work out there that'll be 5,000 times better than that piece of shit.
100%.
Let that fucking place crash and burn, and let it get into its own fucking grave and call it a day.
I don't think they'll ever make. There is none in New York City where we are that are open.
I know the few that we would go to are long gone now. The only two I know of that were close by where you live are long gone. And those were the only ones I knew of. The only one maybe, and I don't think that one's there anymore, is the one in the city. I think that
they're closed.
That one's gone too.
They're closed, yeah. None of them are open. And will they reopen? Probably I don't know. Not. I know. You know what? It's not even worth talking about them anymore because I don't want to give them more airtime. Fuck them. Fuck you, GameStop, and fuck you, CVS.
Just like the Vegas mayor or governor, GameStop is a cunt. I'm sorry. I just like saying cunt on a podcast microphone. It just sounds so much better.
It's more point to the point.
It's to the point, like a pointy cunt.
Is CVS 24 hours still? No,
I don't know.
I'm sure that they're pulling the same bullshit.
Honestly, I doubt it because The place is nearby me right now. There is a Walgreens not too far from my house, and that one used to be open until midnight. They're open from 9 to 9 right now. The only thing that stayed the same is the grocery store outside by me. They're open regular hours, and they close at midnight.
Jesus.
And it sucks, too, because the only thing that they set up differently, they set up barriers between the register and the customers.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the employees because the employees are really cool there, and I know that the owners of that company are just lining their pockets. Like, that's all they're doing.
100%.
That's all they're fucking doing. So
let's just bring up a story of bad customers. What are memorable customers you've ever had?
Oh my God.
Good and bad. If you could pick one and one.
Okay. I have a good one because it is a redemption story. And something crossed my mind the other day. I'm not going to get too much into politics.
Sure.
But it was a scenario that happened with the politician, and it threw me back to a CVS day. A Starbucks day. So recently, Mike Pence, he went to a couple different places, and he wasn't wearing a facial mask, which has become a big controversy, shouldn't even be one. It's pretty much simple logic. You wear a fucking mask, you prevent the spread of the disease, you prevent yourself from getting it, you prevent yourself from asymptomatically spreading it. Hands down, no argument there. That's as far I'm going to go with that. But anyways, he wasn't wearing a mask. He got a lot of flack about it. A couple days go by, he came out and publicly apologized. I understood that. I respected that. I took the understanding that he was able to say, okay, you know what? I fucked up. I probably should have been the bigger person, especially being in the position that I am, that I should have respected that and, warned that, and I apologize. I was like, all right, cool. So that being said, there was a time where I was working my usual shift at Starbucks, and a guy came in. He asked for a venti dark roast. He came to the register. I turned around. It was after 4 o'clock, and usually that's the point of time where we don't have dark roast. We cut a lot of coffees to conserve on coffee and whatnot. So we usually just have one type of coffee, which is Pike Place, which tastes like shit, as most people presume. So I went to pour the dark, and I saw that there was no dark roast. So I saw that there was no dark roast. So I moved the cup over to the Pike, and I filled it up with Pike. I put the cup on the counter. I gave him the Pike. He looked at me, and he goes, "That's not what I fucking asked for." And he just left, and he just stormed out the fucking store. So I was like, I looked back at the other employee that I was working with, and I kind of just shrugged my shoulder and was like, well, fuck me. I'm the asshole, I guess, for lying to you. So, but in the same weird way, because I had been so invested in the company, I still felt bad, in some weird, like, I shouldn't have felt bad because it's this dumbest fucking thing in the world, but I still like, fuck, that really sucks, So a day or so go by, he comes back into the store, and me still feeling guilty, I look at him and I get him his venti coffee, and I made sure it was dark roast this time. And as I put it on the counter, I kind of go, hey, man, look, I'm really sorry. And I just sent it to that. I wasn't going to go into detail like why I felt bad or this and that. He kind of paused and he goes, no, you know what? I was wrong too, and I apologize for that. And ever since then, probably one of the coolest customers that would come in.
No shit.
Yeah. So for me personally, any form of redemption, any form of ownership when it comes to those situations where you're a shithead on the other side, own it. Humble yourself and take a moment to reflect on what you're going through. Yes, everybody's going through shit. You have a bad fucking day.
Sure.
I felt terrible the other day. The other day I was the asshole customer and I felt fucking awful about it. Thankfully I like calmed myself down before I like went too far. But another social distancing liquor store I went in, and the woman's like, "There's already 2 people in here. You can't come in." And I'm like, "Yeah, no shit, I can count." And then as soon as I said that, I'm like, why the fuck did I say that? There was no reason for me to say that. Why am I in such a shitty mood? Am I in a shitty mood because I have to wait on a line? And then when I went in and she was kind of like joking and laughing about it because she was just like, she's kind of, she's annoyed by the situation, but she has to do her job. And I didn't take that moment to understand that. And I took it after the fact. So,
well, one of my proudest moments was actually working at CVS.
Yeah.
I was working in photo and had a guy, a woman, a daughter, and our dad come in. The dad was about in his 70s, late 80s, early 80s.
Right.
She was 50, whatever. It doesn't. I guess it doesn't matter. But anyway, she came in. The dad was she remember turning to her dad and said, "Dad, go shop around whatever you want." And she, so I was sitting with her because she didn't know how to use the photo machine.
Right.
And how there was the manual one that we would use and the kiosk one.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So she was on the kiosk, and I said, "Do you want me to bring it to the main machine?" She said, "No, I want to kind of select." And I said, "Okay, no problem." So so I was sitting with her and we are going through all the pictures and it was really cool fucking pictures. It was pictures of her father.
Yeah.
Going at skydiving.
That's cool.
And doing it was a lot of skydiving pictures and some other stuff. And I said, wow, you're how old your father? And she told me, and I said, that's pretty cool that he's doing that at this age. It's pretty awesome and what have you. And I took nothing of it.
Yeah.
And she started crying.
Oh, shoot.
And I said, what's wrong? She goes, well, my father is terminally ill.
Oh, man.
And at that point, he had like only a few months left to live.
Yeah. So it was
and he was doing his bucket list.
Yeah. Bucket list time. Fuck.
And I got emotional. I was very like, oh, fuck. You got a pin in your stomach. And then at that moment, your brain's like, what is the right thing to do? What is the best thing you could do for this moment? And I remember turning to her and I said, do me a favor. As long as you don't say anything, I'm giving you all the pictures for free.
That's what I'm talking about.
And she had like 300 fucking pictures. And I printed 300 fucking pictures out.
That's fucking
I said, come back in an hour. Don't say anything because if you
Yeah.
do,
See me specifically.
I said, exactly. I said, I'll be here. See me specifically. Don't ask for me. Just if you see me, come to me. Don't make a scene. I said, because if they see that, I'm going to get fired. She goes, no. Oh my God. She tried to hand me money. I said, no. I said, I just want you to spend the remaining time you have with your father as much as possible.
Right.
And then she hugged me. And I saw the manager kind of taking note of it, but it was just, I guess, a customer doing an employee doing a good thing for a customer.
Right.
As far as they can tell. But I had a stack of fucking pictures, and I remember putting them in the envelope, scotch taped it. I don't think I wrote anything on there.
And run.
She came back. I handed it to her. She said, "Thank you so much." She hugged me again, and
man.
I'll never forget. It was the best feeling ever. But I'll never forget. We had the main photo department woman. I'm gonna just say her name, Mary. She fucking this frail redheaded woman. She'd
blow away in the wind. That's all I'm gonna say.
She comes in the following Monday. She had a photo report. She goes, guys, can you all come in the back room, please? And it was me.
I'm sorry, Mary. We couldn't hear what you're saying. Could you speak up? Oh yeah, sorry, guys. Can you come up to the front? We have something important.
She'll be great in ASMR, that's for sure.
No, she wouldn't. You can't even hear on ASMR.
I'm taking the photos.
Changing the photo paper, but I'm also doing a log. Yeah, Mary, just so you know, when you record ASMR, you're not supposed to talk quietly. I'm not talking quietly. This is how I talk.
I'm literally screaming at the top of my lungs.
I'm actually kind of frustrated and really yelling. I apologize if this is too loud.
This song's so good. Okay, so anyway, she goes, guys, can you please come in the back? We have to go over the report. There's an issue. I go, I'm like, oh no, I'm going to get in trouble. So we get back there and she opens up the logbook and she goes, guys, we're minus 550 fucking photos.
Oh my God.
I can't report this. What is going on?
Tom's in the back of his head. He's like, I'm at least 300 of that.
Well, so I had
bobble.
We had bobble and we had mashed potato.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, I don't know how can we be minus 500 photos? And I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Where could they be? I'm gonna look around in CVS for them.
Oh, she was looking around, and I think she was waiting because her and mashed potato face were really waiting for me to fucking say something. And
they didn't know though. Like they were just
no, because
assuming?
they were good at photo.
Oh, well, you weren't bad at photo either. Like,
I was minus 500 photos though.
In terms of yes, in terms of accountability, yes.
How can you count to 200? I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, but
I was good at not giving a shit about giving people free photos.
There you go. I was gonna say those two put together, they probably couldn't count to 200. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right. Well, so to play it off,
no offense, one's a teacher now.
Yeah. And the other one's a prostitute. But I remember saying in a defense response, going, yeah, that's fucked up. Where can those 500 photos? That's going to fuck everything up. Hope we don't get in trouble. And I remember Mary going, it's okay. Well, we just got to keep a better eye on it. I'll write a report.
No, we need to get to the bottom of this right now.
You know, everyone left it.
That's
no
funny.
one said
That's
anything to me. No one really mentioned it. It was one of those unwritten, like, all right, fine.
It's
we know what's going on, but you can't prove it. You can't blame me.
Right.
But they knew it was me. But it was the best fucking thing I did, and I would do it again. It was the best thing because it was an important moment in this person's life to make sure they had this. And the last thing I was going to have them do was fucking pay $50 to get pictures of their father's bucket list. Get the
Probably
fuck out of here.
fucking more than that.
Yeah, for 300 fucking photos? Yeah, I'm sure it was more.
300 plus photos on the Instant Machine.
Yeah.
That shit costs way too much fucking money.
Yeah, fuck that. But the worst fucking customer, yours is a good and a bad, right? The redemption one?
Well, that wasn't the worst one. That was my middle ground.
The middle ground. So what would you be your worst one?
I feel like I need a minute to think of the worst customer I had.
Well, I'll tell you.
Because I mean, cumulatively, that was 9 years in CVS, and that's another 4 years. So it's 13 years total. There's so many fucking stories, but honestly, the crazy ones that are the ones that get me, where the people, no matter what you do, they're on the warpath. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you have those guests where like one minute thing goes wrong, and from that moment on, they're just assholes. And I remember there used to be this lady. She would shop in CVS every other day.
Right.
Every so often, she would come in. Where I was like conditioned, which is so stupid. I don't even know why. I should have just been like, I'm not gonna help her. It became like a game for me where I would ring her up and I would make sure everything goes according to her plan, just so she left satisfied.
Right.
But if God forbid she couldn't get a rain check for something, she would literally go to like DEFCON 4 in her own mind. So for whatever reason, that would occur all the fucking time. So anytime I would take her as a guest, I would do everything in my power to see if I could prevent her from getting to that point of anger, so she would be in and out. I was always like the problem solver when it came to those asshole type of customers.
Right.
But it just brought me to almost exactly the same type of guest that I've gotten at Starbucks. And it was the exact same thing. There was this guy, we called him the creepy silver-haired troll man. That's what we called him. This fucking guy. He works for the MTA. He's the biggest piece of shit. I wish I knew his name, because I would plug him right now so you guys could go fucking ride his bus and fuck with him, because he's the biggest piece of shit in the world. And it's funny because there's an opposite redemption type thing where he saw me later on and he respected me in this weird way, but that's a whole nother. I'll follow up with that after I give you like 5 different scenarios where he was an asshole. So I've seen this guy come into 2 different Starbucks that I worked at. I worked at one in Glendale, and then I worked at one in Brooklyn.
Right.
So the one in Glendale, he would come in and he would, number one, there'd be a line of 5 people. He would jump to the front of the line, like disregard for the line completely. And then he would demand service. He'd say 4 espresso. And that's not even how you order. You say quad espresso. You say 4 shots of espresso in a cup, whatever. He'd say 4. He'd say it weird, like quattro espresso, and he would order it weird. So if God forbid the person ringing him up would go, "You want 4 shots of espresso? Would you like that in a short cup? What part of 4 espresso don't you fucking understand?"
Oh no!
And then he would just get all crazy. Like, you didn't have to. You just said anything about whatever, and he would flip. He wouldn't even give his name. He had his Starbucks, like his membership card, and he scratched his name out of it because this guy was just such a fucking wackadoo. So, mind you, out of the, let's just say 9 out of the 10 times he would come in, 9 of the times would be problems, 1 of the times would be fine. So the only times that those problems wouldn't be a problematic shift is one time he came in, and I see one of the newer people at the register. I'm like a shift supervisor now, so it's no longer me like at the receiving end. It's more like me facilitating and whatnot. Right. And I just bombard the person at the register and it's like, "Don't worry, I got this. Yeah, you go make the drink. I'll take care of this this guy." So I start ringing him up and he's like, "Quattro espresso." I'm like, "No problem, man. Quattro espresso. Pull the 4 shots right now, please." So we get his shots. We get him the fuck out of the store.
Yeah.
So the game plan with him is like 1, 2, 3, get him out and call it a fucking day. But it sucks because you have to spoon feed these fuckers just to get them out of your store for the sake of them not causing a disruption. So that would probably be one of the worst people I've had to deal with, because he's come in, he's cursed out other people online. There was a woman who she was almost brought to tears because she was trying to defend us and saying that she was trying to defend the people behind the counter with me that he was talking down to, on top of the fact that he cut her in line.
Oh, shit.
And he was just being rude and shouting at her, and she was like shaking to the point where like, "Listen, man, we apologize for that. Here's a drink on us. Fuck that guy," you know? So this guy was like so wrapped in his own ego, so wrapped in his own fucking world. And long story short, fuck that guy. Blue-haired troll is what we called him. Blue-haired troll.
Piece of shit, blue-haired troll.
Bitch.
I would say that's pretty terrible. I would say, again, at CVS, I had a lady who came in one time. She would come in every now and then, but one.
You want your beer?
No,
I'll finish it for you.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah. It's full to the top.
I figured so. I know you. I was thinking you got to drive soon anyway, so it's probably.
No, Taylor's driving.
Oh, she is.
She's gonna pick me up.
Oh, she's coming back.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I was gonna drink. I was starting to get a really nasty headache.
You want some water or anything?
I'm okay now. I once I got some fresh air, I cooled down.
It's funny because I started to feel like the pre-hangover feeling.
That's how I was feeling.
I got like the sort of dehydration.
Yep.
S vibe. So I started drinking again. CVS
now
makes me
I'm
drink.
good.
All right.
Now I'm good, but
Okay.
I'll probably maybe have one beer before I leave. But anyway, so this lady used to come in. She was a lawyer. She came in one.
Already sounds great.
She came in one night, and she needed help with something. So I went the extra mile and I helped her helped her walk through some stuff. Right. And so she seemed really cool. She was asking about tablets. She goes, "Oh, I see you guys have a tablet." Now the tablets like fucking CVS used to sell Craig tablets. Yeah, like fucking Toby. It's like horrible shit.
I remember them.
Horrible.
They were so fucking bad.
It's so bad.
Like okay, perfect way to put them. They were so bad, we decided not to steal them. Is that correct?
100%.
Yeah,
they weren't worth it.
Nope.
The fact that it would start up was a miracle. So she would come in. I mean, she came in. We're bullshitting, and then she's going, "Look, I see these tablets. Like, what's the deal with them? I was looking at getting them, but the iPads are too expensive. Like, what's the difference?"
Right.
And I straight out told her, like, "Look, you're better off going to Best Buy. You're better off getting like an iPad. You're better off getting
right. And at least they have some options. They have 100%. Multiple. Every other company makes a fucking tablet. So
I actually, funny you say that. I actually said to her, I was like, any other company would be better than what they're selling because the price may be somewhat enticing because they were selling it for $70, but the next week's special was $50. And I said, look,
and you probably get $35 extra bucks, and
if she had the rewards, yeah,
all that bullshit.
And I remember telling her, I was like, look,
paper trail for days.
Exactly. I said, look, I don't recommend it. It's not worth the money. They really are junk. Just wait and go to another store.
Right.
So she's like, I really appreciate your honesty, and we started continuing bullshitting. So somehow it came back to the tablets, and I said, look, you're really cool. I really like you. You've been really nice to talk to. I said, how about this? I said, we have access to next week's flyers. This is going to be $50. I said, if you could promise me one thing, if you don't say anything, if you don't return it, I will give you next week's price today. And she goes, how much did I say? 50. And she went, oh my God, she's like, that's incredible. I would really appreciate that. Yeah, you have my word.
Yeah.
That was the fucking biggest mistake I ever did because
I've done that too. I know what you're talking about, man. Fucking.
I grabbed this motherfucking tablet. I bring this fucking asshole up. I put some manufacturer coupon bullshit. I repriced whatever, try to adjust it.
You dug yourself into a hole that could get you fucked up.
100%.
Just for the sake of appeasing this customer who seemed cool.
Yes.
Who seemed like, all right, she's cool with it.
And the POS system's there. Yeah, the POS system's there. You didn't need a supervisor's... at a certain point, you didn't need a supervisor or a manager to come to swipe their card to approve it.
Yeah.
You could price adjust it to whatever the fuck you want. You had a lot of freedom. That's why we got a lot away with a lot of shit then. Mm-hmm. And I remember price adjusting it to $49.99, hitting okay, $52 it came out. She pays for it, prints out the receipt. It literally just says $52.99. It has it just says item. Doesn't have the name of it or anything. And I'll never forget. I leave, I go home, she thanks me. It was towards the end of my shift. I get a fucking phone call a day or two later from manager Debbie saying, "Hey, by any chance, did you sell a woman?"
Not to be confused with Debbie, the greatest,
not the fire extinguisher
we've ever dealt with in our life.
To try to make a long story shorter, basically how the story ends is, so I get a phone call. So she buys it, she leaves. I go home. I get a phone call like a day or so later. I was off from work. And it was my manager, and she's going, Tom, by any chance, there's a customer here who said that you sold her this tablet, but on the receipt it doesn't show the item. It says $49.99, but that's next week's price. So it would have to be an employee that knows that price. And she's saying it was you that sold it to her, and I was like, Deborah, I don't know.
I like how literally she laid you right dead to rights right there. It's like literally exactly what you did, and you're like, no, that wasn't me.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not sure what to tell you. I was like, I don't recall ever selling that to her. I said, because I don't know how to do price adjustments. I was like, I didn't know you could do that without a supervisor. And she actually said to me, she goes, no, you could do that. You could do that without us. And I was like, you fucking dumbass. But she actually pulled the phone aside and said, yeah, this woman, she's a little bit of a hassle. She comes here a lot. And then she's like, I think she's just trying to sell it back, whatever it was. Now, whether she believed me or not, which I don't think she did.
Right.
I didn't get in trouble.
Good.
And they took the tablet back. They just gave her a refund back. And that fucking woman, for a solid year, every time she came to the store, she always went, hi, hey, or stare at me. And I never answered her. And it was one time in particular, I was in charge of watching the checkout, the self-checkout.
Yeah.
And she was waiting online. It was a pretty long line. It was a lot of people. And she fucking whipped around, looked at me and said, I don't understand. I say hi to you all the time. Why don't you say hi to me? And
she was really butthurt.
I remember staring directly at her and I go, ma'am, you must be confused with someone else because I don't know you. I'm sorry.
I love it. I fucking love it.
And she like did a smirk like she knew she was that she looked like an asshole because a lot of people looking at her.
I love it. I fucking love it, man.
Fucking checked out and left. And I remember going to the manager, telling her exactly what just happened. She laughed. She said, good for you. And she goes, yeah, she's such a pain in the ass.
I love it. I see, these are the kind of stories of shitty customers that help bring me to a mindset to bring up some other ones. I feel like before I was like, I was calculating the years I've worked in retail, and it's been 13 years in retail. Jesus. And I was trying to figure out, I've probably run into those scenarios a gazillion and a half times, as you have yourself.
Yeah.
So, but you mentioning that story just reminded me of one that is just as good. So one time, and just like with every business, there's peak times, there's the off-peak times. We were dealing with one of our hard-on peak times craziness at the Starbucks, and the line was wrapped around the door. Gentleman ordered a triple espresso shot. Logically speaking, triple espresso shot doesn't take that long. It's 3 shots that pull out of the machine. It probably takes, let's say, 25 seconds tops.
Okay.
Granted, if there's other drinks before and after, it's going to take a little bit longer. That's just part of what retail is. That's part of how food service goes. You got to fucking wait.
Right.
So this guy, he ordered his drink and he waited a little bit too long, longer than he expected to wait. So he got so fucking angry about it. He was like, where's my fucking triple espresso? I don't see it anywhere. And mind you, the lobby's packed. There's customers everywhere. They're looking at this guy like he's fucking crazy. He got so mad that he walked out the door, slammed the door against the wall, and then just left. And then as soon as he left, I saw that his triple espresso was ready to be made. And just to be an asshole and to see the customers' reactions that were in the lobby, I put the lid on and I go, triple espresso? Triple espresso. And I put it down on the counter. It's like, fuck that guy.
That's awesome.
Had he waited 2 more seconds, he would have gotten his triple espresso. I didn't jump his drink. It just so happened to work out perfectly. It's like, dude, it's right here. But no. Have your little titty attack and run outside like a grown fucking 8-year-old.
Over fucking coffee. Over fucking coffee.
Over a fucking coffee.
Your life is that important where you have to make sure, like, you're that fucking impatient as a human being that you can't wait the extra 2 minutes to get goddamn coffee when you clearly see the whole fucking place is packed. I understand if there was no one else in there and it's taking 3 hours to get fucking coffee. Right. But if the fucking place is packed and everyone's doing the best they can to fucking get the thing, be a little considerate. Absolutely. You inconsiderate piece of shit.
Absolutely.
That is my main problem with fucking. That is my main problem with
Salud.
Thank you. With retail, it's where the customer's always right, the employees are always pieces of shit.
Well, I mentioned this when we were talking about it not too long ago. It's just that barrier. And I mean, and I will tell you this, my dad has admitted to this fault in his life until he realized his children were working in places of retail, but it was differentiating between the consumer and the receiver.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, my dad said it himself. I think he said he was ready to berate a grocery store worker for doing whatever the fuck. And then he goes, no, in reality, that's somebody's son. That's somebody's daughter. That could be my son. That could be my daughter. Let me take 2 fucking seconds of patience and realize, no, he's going through shit. I'm going through shit. Let me be a fucking human being to another human being. It's not just a dude serving me on the other side of the counter. That's another fucking person in the world. Yeah. I'm the other person on the other side of the counter. The counter is just there. That doesn't differentiate between either of us.
Yeah.
So, and nobody looks at it like that. With every job, with the current job I have, with the current job that we all have, you get looked at as source of whatever the fuck you are, and it is forgotten that it's not just one human talking to the other human.
Well, do you know what's the worst part about all this is that all these retail stores, some are curbside, some are just mobile order. You know, someone will open the door and give it to you.
Right.
There are some supermarkets included, little like Key Food, like smaller shops like that, or like Stop and Shop, bigger stores.
Yeah.
That are open. Mm-hmm. You know, they're doing the whole a few people at a time. But there's a sense of I had to stop a fight. An argument, not a physical, obviously, but just an argument.
Oh, Jesus.
2 fucking customers. They were waiting in line. This was in Key Food.
Okay.
They're waiting in line, and the lady in front was paying, and there was a lady behind who was starting to put her stuff on the belt.
Okay.
Wasn't abiding to there were markers on the floor.
Now, super duper quick.
Sure.
I was the idiot that did that not too long ago.
Uh-huh.
But as soon as I was put in check, I realized I was wrong, and I backed up, and I realized, oh, fuck, I completely forgot about this because this is my routine.
Sure.
You see a belt, and you see space, you drop your shit down.
Yeah.
As soon as I was put on notice about it, I was like, oh, shit, my bad. And
Yeah.
I walked back, and I social distanced, and I did what I had to fucking do.
Yeah. Well, this other lady felt that she was getting personally attacked because the woman in front said, can you wait until I'm done? Yeah. And this woman was literally putting her card in the machine. And this other one was was right up her ass, just putting shit on the belt.
Yeah.
And if I didn't know any better, you would think they were working together. They came in together.
Oh, God.
That's how close they were. And so this woman says, can you give me some space? And this other woman's like, what's with your fucking attitude? And then this other woman's like, it doesn't take one person. It only takes one person to say something wrong, and then that's it. Everyone has a short fuse.
It's a fucking trigger. That happened the other day, not too long ago. In the elevator, I was going down on the elevator, and it ties back into the same social distance stuff.
Yeah.
The elevator was packed, and unfortunately, right now they're working on the elevators in my building. Mm-hmm. So instead of having 2, one's working, the other one's off. So it's already 3 people in the elevator. That includes myself. And we get down to the 5th floor, and the woman's like, "Oh, the elevator's way too full. I'm gonna wait for the next one because you guys are in it." And the woman, she said it slightly condescending, but I don't think she really meant anything by it. She was more annoyed that the situation has her waiting for another elevator. But the woman that was already inside the elevator, the woman started snapping at her. Oh, that's our problem because we're inside this elevator and you can't go where you need to go. We got to do something about that. Just shut your mouth. We're already headed downstairs. You don't need to comment. Just let the bitch wait for her fucking elevator. Everybody wants to make something into a fucking problem today.
100%.
Everybody's hypersensitive to nothing. You're fighting over who's going to be in a fucking elevator.
Yeah.
You're fighting over who's next in fucking line. Are you kidding me?
And if you're that fucking concerned about people being that fucking close, then maybe wait and not have to buy your fucking bag of popcorn and your box of strawberries and wait maybe a few more days. Bingo. Or come early in the morning when no one's there.
You know what I do?
Yeah.
This is what I do. My grocery store is open till midnight. You know what I do? I go there after work at 11:30 when nobody's in the store. When there's at least 3 or 4 people tops in the store. There's no lines to worry about. There's no issues. Mm-hmm. I walk up to the register. I take my fucking time. I chat with the fucking people that work there. And I have no stress whatsoever. Go into it with a mindset where you're not going to fuck yourself over and where you're not going to stress yourself out, because then you end up being the fucking asshole. Simple as that.
Simple. It really is as simple as that. It's super fucking silly to fight and then be nasty to the cashier or the people that work there over nothing. Nothing.
There's so many bigger issues in the world. Simply put, coronavirus is a big fucking issue, hands down. But all the other issues that come along in the world, so many pressing matters, and you're going to be upset about somebody telling you just to keep the distance from somebody else?
Yeah.
How about you hearing about this shit about people getting shot because they told somebody to put a mask on?
No.
Are you fucking, seriously?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Some security guard got shot from telling somebody to put a mask on. I don't know how aggressive it got, but regardless of how aggressive you tell
enough
somebody,
to get shot, I guess.
Yeah, but regardless of how aggressive you decided to be, pulling a gun on somebody to tell you to follow a simple instruction is bullshit. Simple as that.
That's disgusting.
And I want to bring up another thing, and this is I don't know if this teeters on politics. I don't think it does. I think it's just simple logic. A grocery store, a bank, a pharmacy, whatever the fuck. These are private institutions, private retail establishments, correct?
Correct.
They could decide whether they want you to wear a shirt, whether they don't want you to wear a shirt. They could tell you if you're not allowed entry if you don't wear a fucking blue shirt or whatever the fuck it is. So when they say you need to wear a mask and you get upset about that, they could deny you from coming in regardless. They could deny you from coming in for not having shoelaces on your fucking shoes.
Sure.
So just follow a simple instruction or don't fucking go there. Go somewhere else.
Okay, let's do scenario.
Yeah. No, and feel free to tell me if I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. You know? No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Look, places like the supermarket, they at this point, they're like, if you don't have a mask, go to fuck home. We don't have. If we don't have, you're going home. Yeah. I'm totally aboard. If you're too irresponsible, dude, I can't tell you how many times you'll have like these gym assholes.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay. They come in. They think they're fucking untouchable because they got their protein. Yeah.
Oh God.
And they got no fucking mask. They're nothing. No gloves. No nothing. They come in. They grab their fruit. They don't put it in a bag. Throw their shit on a belt.
Here's 3 apples.
Yeah. And I'm like, go fuck yourself. Fuck you. You fucking meathead piece of shit. Because you fucking think that you're the gift of God, that you're untouchable. When God only knows you're probably fucking sick.
Yeah, exactly.
But the point I'm trying to make is, here's a scenario. Mm-hmm. You're an employee. I'm a customer during this whole pandemic, right?
Right on.
Okay, here we go. I bring my stuff on. So you would naturally say, you would start off with,
"Hi, how are you? Welcome to Shithole USA. Did you find everything you were looking for?"
Cool. And then I don't respond to you. Oh, and then I stay down. You can't. You fucking
see. The scenario's already upset me. I don't even want to. I'm already in the mode that I felt back when I was working at Starbucks and CVS. It's like, all right, you're gonna deny me a simple response as a fucking human. Oh, yes. It gets me so fucking mad.
It makes you feel so little as a person.
Right.
When you can't. That makes me feel like I'm not good enough to get a fucking hello.
That's when I start to do things like mutter under my breath. Fuck me, right? I'm just trash. I'm water trash, right? Cool, no problem.
I used to go, "Oh, hey Tom, how's it going?"
Yeah, I've done that too. I actually do this. I do the side smirk on my face as if I'm a ventriloquist. So like if I ask somebody how they're doing and they don't respond, I go, "Oh, good. How are you doing today?" I do that all the fucking time.
Well, that's pretty much it. Yeah, so it
happens at the job I work at right now. I greet people in and out of the building I work at, and constantly, "Hey, how are you?" Silence, no eye contact, in and out. So, and I get it. I walk into my building all the time where I don't want to talk to anybody. But do I do the bare minimum? Do I say, "Hey, how's it going, man?" No, my day wasn't. And 2 seconds of chit chat. And that's at maximum. You don't even have to do that. At least greet. At least make eye contact. At least be another fucking human being to another human being.
Of course.
That's it. That's the problem with retail. Retail is so stripped down where it's all about money and consumerism that nobody thinks about the human aspect of it. Which, if there was no human aspect from it, retail would fucking fall apart. Simple as that. Fucking
Let's work retail.
I hate it. We should get jobs at CVS again, don't you think?
Dude, you imagine? No, let's not.
Yeah. No, let's run the scenario down. Okay. Actually, before we run the scenario down, did I tell you that I used to have this recurring dream that I would fuck with? I had this recurring dream for like years, where I felt like I would fuck with Deborah, and I would go through the whole hiring process with her, and then the day before she would hire me, I'd go, "Yeah, no, I was just kidding. I don't really want to be hired." I had this dream for like I swear to God, months and years, and it was just one of those things that I would wake up and I was like, "That was a pretty good dream."
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then it started to make me think maybe I should actually do that. Like, listen, all of our stupidness aside, Deborah,
she would hire you.
I want to come back. I think you guys need the effort, and I'm familiar with what I knew back then. I feel like I'm a fast learner. You could get me up to pace, and I just want to come back and be part of the team, okay? And then it would be like, "Okay, Damien, I just need such and such for your information to sign you onto our system." Yeah, no problem. I'll fill that out right now. And then I would like get it right down to the signature portion of whatever I needed to finalize. and then I'd rip up the contract in her face. You thought I was playing, bitch, because I was. Yeah, CBS.
Yeah, you should do it.
I love it. I think I might.
And I'll be there with the camera, and that'll be our next movie, and we'll rate it Rotten Tomatoes score.
Anyways, to wrap up our rants about how much we hate retail, simply put, I know there's a lot of people working, and if they're not working, they have just gotten back to work. So we feel for you all. I'm sorry for my friends that are working at Starbucks right now. I know you guys are going through it because I've spoken to a couple of you guys. So bear with the tide and hang in there. Make sure you metaphorically, and if you need to, and when you quit, tell your boss to fuck themselves. But only until you quit. Make sure you're still getting paid until you do so. Use your vacation time, use your sick time, and then tell them to go fuck themselves. But as I say that, be strong and be all right. All right.
I want to say, I guess second to that, I don't want to sound repetitive, but I just thank you for all those that are working.
Stop copying me, Tom.
I would just hope everybody stays safe.
Yes,
stays happy, and stays home.
Yes, and I mean, unrelated to retail, that should just be the general thing to do right now.
100%.
And this is as simple as why we're sitting down here right now doing a podcast. We're trying to stay happy, trying to stay fucking sane.
Yeah,
we haven't seen each other since this dude's wedding,
which was
and that
was 3
February?
months ago. Yeah,
fucking February. So, just for the sake of having something to fall back on, we fell back on some video gaming, occasional video calls and conversations here and there.
Yeah.
A couple of those. So this, sanity is important in these days, and everybody's got to stay afloat which way they can. So, On that note,
everyone, peace out.
Good night.
And good luck.
I hope that's not copyrighted.
Good night and good cut.
Peace.